everyone. I'm Ashley Eckstein, founder of Her Universe, and welcome to the Her Universe Fashion Show panel. It's been a long time since we've last seen each other, and we have a lot to catch up on. So let's dive right in because we have an amazing group of panelists joining me today. First, we have Adria, Renee, the 2019 Her Universe Fashion Show Judges winner. We also have Sarah Hambly, the 2019 Her Universe Fashion Show audience winner. And finally, we have Ed LaBay, the GMM of merchandising and marketing for Hot Topic. Adria, Sarah, and Ed, welcome. And it's so good to see you again.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, Adria, I'm going to start with you. Now, it's been a while since we've last seen each other, so I thought we could pick up where we've left off. Tell us about your 2019 Her Universe Fashion Show winning design.
So my design was called Destination Isla Nublar. It was inspired by Jurassic Park and taking a really feminine and kind of Latin-inspired resort wear look on a really rugged property. It was a lot of fun to put together, and thankfully the judges really liked it.
And I have to say, not only did they love your design, but you were incredible on the runway. You were your own model, and you truly wowed everyone. It was quite the performance.
Yes, I do like to have a lot of fun on the runway, and I gotta say, if there was any way to go out with the fashion show, it was definitely with a bang and with a margarita in hand.
Okay, now Sarah, it's been a minute since we left off, so tell us about your winning design.
My look was Bodak green. It was a Loki-inspired look that was really based off of performance wear that we see a lot of pop stars wear on stage. So I really wanted to go big and over the top and really just have fun with it. Because like Adria said, if you're going to go out, you're going to go out with a bang.
And your model has a very special connection. Your model was your sister, and she rocked it on the runway. What is it like working with your sister? Because I also know your mom was backstage too, so it was a whole family affair.
Yeah, so there are 3 of us in my family. We are a very small family. And it was amazing to work with my sister. She is so much fun. She just really understood the character and really understood what I was going for. And my mom was great. She helped me put things together at the last minute. She helped me with any kind of changes that came up with the wig. I know that we had like an issue where we had to literally hand sew her wig into the hat that she wore. So my mom was great. She helped hand sew everything in, and it stayed on her head while she went down the runway. So that was wonderful.
I love all those behind the scenes, all those little fun tidbits of what happens behind the scenes. Now, Ed, speaking of behind the scenes, some of my favorite moments are with you behind the scenes. And we, have built this fashion show together from the beginning. And you have quite the history of falling in love with designs on the runway. And whether someone wins or not, you say, hey, I want to make that. I want to take this geek couture piece and let's sell it in Hot Topic. You actually did that several years ago with a fellow designer. Her name was Lindsay, and we loved her jacket so much. She didn't win the competition, but it was a Spider-Gwen jacket, and you made it available in Hot Topic, and you love giving designers an opportunity. So you did something similar here. And we honored Adria and Sarah's designs with ready-to-wear pieces and Hot Topic in Her Universe.
Yes, we did. Well, first of all, Ashley, I was a little bit afraid you were going to give away some of our secrets, so I wasn't sure what you were going to ask me. But yes, one of the things that we love to do is to be able to partner with designers, especially, and like you said, sometimes the designers aren't necessarily the winners, but they create such unique items that really lend themselves to a consumer products item for retail, and we want to translate that and give them an opportunity to sell product as well. So it's very exciting, and also something I think the Her Universe fans really wanted, and we've gotten so many call outs, requests from items that they see the designers create, whether it's a piece of jewelry, a handbag. There's some of these small details that aren't just the full outfit, but just these little pieces that the audience wants to take home with them. And so we want to be able to give that opportunity to the designer as well as the fans.
Now, Adria and Sarah, what was it like for you to see, Adria, your scarf, and then Sarah, we did a Loki pullover, inspired by your designs, but available for fans to buy?
It was incredible. I know right after the fashion show, I had like so many inquiries about my scarf in particular. Like, are you making that? I'm getting married. Can you make this for my wedding? And so I had like tons of people who wanted it. And so when you guys came to us and were ready to, make some pieces inspired by our actual winning pieces, I was super excited, and I knew 100% what one of those pieces had to be, because that scarf, everyone loved it.
Yeah, so it was really exciting to see my own designs from the runway come to life in a ready to wear, because I've never had any opportunity like that before. It was really cool to say, hey, we're going to make these for ready to wear items. And I really loved the pullover because I loved the back where I had put embroidery on my particular runway piece, and we had put a really beautiful screen print in almost the same design, which I thought was a really cool opportunity because it's just so neat. I love the fact that we got to do that.
As the winners of the 2019 Her Universe fashion show, Adria and Sarah won the opportunity to design a collection with Her Universe for Hot Topic. They designed a Wonder Woman collection inspired by Wonder Woman 1984. Let's check it out. Sarah, right after you won the Her Universe fashion show, we put you to work on designing a collection for Her Universe and Hot Topic the very next day. Now, we were thrilled to share with you that collection would be inspired by Wonder Woman in celebration of the film Wonder Woman 1984. And you both designed a beautiful collection that has since been released. So, Adria, let's start out with you. Why don't you tell us about 3 of your designs?
Yeah, so 3 of the most, I guess, popular that I've seen between social media and what people are tagging me in are the t-shirt dress, the kimono, and the jacket were all really big hits. And they're definitely some of my favorite pieces because they are just so quintessentially Wonder Woman. Those color schemes, they're really bright and poppy, and they totally remind me of like the old school comic books. You know, we're taking 1980s aesthetics and trying to modernize them for a modern audience. And so I think we did a pretty good job of that by, taking those really poppy colors, really graphic elements, and keeping it classic and definitely lots of fun.
Yeah, this is interesting because every year, we work with multiple designers once they've won the show, and everyone has a different take. And what I love, Adria, you were very inspired, like you said, by the 80s and almost kind of like you merged classic Wonder Woman with the 80s. And Sarah, you were very inspired by the costumes from the film because you guys got to see some advanced images that no one else got to see. And Sarah, oh my gosh, that walk-through romper, it was just literally stunning. So tell us about 3 of your looks.
Yeah, so the walk-through romper is probably the most popular piece of the collection from my side. It sold out right away. I know there are some people that have said, when can we get it? When can we get it? and it's just not available, and I feel so bad, but it was so beautiful, and it was such a joy to make. And an interesting fact about that is that I actually drew that design on a napkin the first time. Like sitting in the hotel, drawing on a napkin, having like a drink and lunch, and then I was like, oh, this would be cute. And so I drew it on a napkin first and then brought it with me. And then I'm wearing the jacket that I also designed, this like cheetah jacket with the spikes on it. This was another one that was really fun to design. Super inspired by the costumes, super inspired by Cheetah and all of her amazing looks. And then, of course, we had a tank top with these beautiful wings on the back, because we cannot forget that beautiful wing piece at the end of the film. I don't want to give it away too much if they haven't seen it. But there's this beautiful scene with these beautiful wings, and the wingback tank was just one of those things that, like, you can wear while you work out, you can wear going to the grocery store. It had way more versatility than, like, the beautiful, elegant romper that's more like a prom or a dinner dress.
The collection was just stunning, and everyone loved it. You know, Ed, these fashion show collections are, you know, some of the most coveted collections at Hot Topic year after year. Now, 2020 was a little different for all of us this year.
I mean, what are you talking about, Ashley? I don't know what I have completely blocked it out. I don't know.
It took whatever plans we had, including the fashion show and the release of the Wonder Woman collection, and completely, you know, threw all of our plans up in the air. Take us through this past year and just how it even affected, you know, business and your release plans. I mean, it definitely affected the Wonder Woman collection and our kind of traditional schedule and how we go about things.
Obviously, it was a very challenging year for us to navigate through, and unfortunately, we had to make some decisions throughout the year where we were pushing product, to later in the year. Something like the Wonder Woman film, which we wanted to release this collection, within the time frame of the film, we ended up having to move that all the way to Christmas. And so I think that, it was really interesting to try to pinpoint when the studios were going to release these films, so that we could make sure that we were launching the product at the same time. So with the Wonder Woman film being moved out to Christmas and being released on HBO Max, which was amazing because it gave the broader audience the ability to see it without going to the theaters, we launched our product a little bit earlier. And we had to kind of scramble, especially with the designers, figure out how are we going to safely photograph the product? How are we going to, and this is usually a time where we celebrate with the designers, see the collection together in person, touch the fabrics, spend a little time in the office together and really celebrate. And so unfortunately, we were not able to do that. But I think the designers did an amazing job of rallying and figuring out how to make this launch as successful as it possibly could. So I just want to thank you guys for that, and that the fans were ready to, embrace the product when we were finally able to launch it.
Yeah, I mean, Adria and Sarah, what was that moment like for you when you got the box in the mail of your collection and you got to see it for the first time? I mean, did you have this moment, like this geek out moment of like, oh my gosh, I created this and here it is?
I know I definitely did. That giant box showed up on my doorstep, and my mom knew that there was things on the way too, and she was like, your box is here. So we brought it in and opened it up, and I might have gotten a little bit teary. She might have definitely cried. It was just really incredible to see, like, all this work that we've put in and seeing it come to life finally, because at this point, we were supposed to see it originally, like, right when the shutdown was happening. And so, we had extra almost 6 months, or what was it, like 4 or 5 months between when we thought we would, like, see it to when we actually did, and got to finally, like, see it come to fruition. It was really incredible. And the quality of everything was just amazing. And like seeing it, touching it in real life, like seeing something you drew in real life is crazy. I mean, we do couture stuff, but like on a retail level, it's totally different.
Bouncing off of what Adria said, the same thing. It was really emotional to see that package show up on the doorstep. Not only did I get my stuff, but I got Adria's stuff, and everything that she did was beautiful. And the whole collection as a whole was just something that I had never thought that I would get the opportunity to do, and to see it brought to life. And then getting to photograph it ourselves. Not that I wouldn't have loved to come down and do it, but I kind of have that control issue where I love to like nitpick at everything. So it was really nice to photograph it myself. And I had a lot of fun doing it. So I think that portion kind of worked in my favor, maybe.
So Sarah and Adria, how does it feel to see girls across the country wearing your designs? People you don't know.
I get a little like weepy, honestly, every time someone like tags me or shares a photo. Like I love seeing how people are styling it or like channeling their inner Wonder Woman. And it's always just like, it's so gratifying to see happen in real time too. And I think too, especially for me, I'm a Latina, coming into like the show when, there hasn't been a ton of like people of color, even in the industry in general. And that's something that resonates with a lot of people and that people have like reached out to me specifically about. And so hearing people's stories, seeing people empowered, I couldn't be more grateful for it.
It's the same thing over here, or very similar. I am just blown away when somebody tags me in a photo. And I haven't seen them in real life yet on like people walking around, but that's because of COVID. Like, let's really be honest here. It's COVID.
I'm like, we haven't seen anybody walking around. So
to be completely honest, I haven't seen anybody in the last year. Yeah, whole year. So to see the pictures of people wearing it at home, to see them doing their own little Wonder Woman-esque style shoots for Instagram or for Twitter, it's just been so amazing to see how I know Adria and I have affected other people's lives with this collection, and how Hot Topic in her universe as a whole has impacted people's lives going through this pandemic.
Okay, so Adria, Sarah, and Ed, as I was brainstorming on really what I wanted to talk to you all about for this panel today, it hit me that all three of you have something in common. You're very, very similar in the fact that your stories and your journeys, you're all self-made. You're all self-taught. Nothing was handed to you on a silver platter. You've worked so hard to get where you're at today. And Adria and Sarah, you have literally taught yourself to sew and design. Your stories blow me away. So I want to ask you each about your journey. So tell us a little bit about your journey, and then end it with some advice. Some advice for someone who's, sitting at home watching this panel, wanting to continue their own journey, or maybe wanting to start a new journey. What advice do you have for designers that want to be just like you? So Adria, take us back, because when you started, you were actually working at a clothing store, and you taught yourself to sew in, I think, like 3 months, right?
Yes, I was working in retail and doing, the retail thing, which was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. And I was, at the time, still doing my undergrad in social science and history, political science, all that good stuff. But I've always been a huge geek and like really into pop culture. And I first moved down to San Diego in 2014, which was the year of the first Her Universe fashion show. And so I had caught wind of the show like way after the fact and was like, this is amazing, and I want to be a part of it. So that, I guess, winter pretty much, I was like, well, if I want to do something like this, I should probably like learn how to sew. And so I just started kind of dabbling here and there, like altering things that I've thrifted and all that kind of good stuff. And then in March, the submissions opened, and I had made my first like actual full thing, I think, in December or January the previous year. So when I was submitting for that first show, I had only been sewing like 3 months, which you know, it was a learning process, and that's something that I've been really grateful to this show for, because every year, you know, I've made it basically a really strong point to learn something, to like teach myself something new, to kind of grow from the experience. And so, you know, each year was just a matter of like pushing myself a little bit beyond what like what I had done previously. And so, yeah, so that first year had only been sewing 3 months, and I ended up coming away with a judge's runner-up that year, which
Yes.
which was crazy and incredibly affirming, because, you know, fashion is always kind of seen as frivolous, and especially for women, it's like, you know, if you're too into fashion, you're seen as like vain or whatever. And so I've really come to appreciate like how valid and important fashion is for, you know, staying true to yourself and like showing off who you are, basically. So yeah, coming through the show each year has just been an incredible journey and learning experience. And I think as far as like advice to anyone who is thinking about entering or who wants to get into fashion or design or what have you, is like, honestly, just do it. You know, I get so much like I hear so much from people who are like, you know, I don't know how to sew, or, you know, I've never done this before, and so they think they can't do it, you know. But if you want something bad enough, or, you know, you're willing to put in the work to kind of get to where you need to be, then like you can do anything that you put your mind to. And I think that's something that, you know, we've seen a lot through like mine and Sarah's journey, and even through a lot of the other designers in the show. You know, each year, like the caliber of talent gets bigger and stronger, and it's just really incredible to see.
Now, Sarah, your journey started when you just happened to wander into our Her Universe fashion show panel at WonderCon. And next thing I know, all these years later, you are just astounding people with your couture fashion. How did you get from A to B? Tell us about your journey.
Yeah, so it was just an accident to wander into your panel. I was working and I had killed some time by like wandering around and seeing what was going on, and your panel happened to be going on in 2016, and it honestly, it was a life-changing moment because I am no longer in the same industry of what I was doing and have now moved completely into fashion, and it totally has everything to do with the fact that you were so inspiring, and the fashion show and all the work was so inspiring. At that time, I had only really hand sewn anything. I didn't have any skills of like using a machine. My mom had sewn her whole life, but I had never shown interest. So to then go from like, I don't want to hand sew, I want to use a machine now, was really exciting and totally different. And I had already I was already like halfway through my degree program for school. So at that time it was too late to like change to fashion. So it was really a learning curve of like learning on my own and learning couture techniques. And so I just kind of went from there, and it was really exciting, and it's been a really exciting journey. And now I get to like share all the knowledge that I've learned and like gathered from books or like obscure internet resources, and get to share that with people from all over the world across tons of different platforms, from like YouTube to Instagram, to just sharing, hey, this is what I've learned. Like, hey, I learned how to dye fabric using sunflowers. Here's how you do it. And I think some of the advice that I would give to people who are looking to get into fashion or anything would be just don't be afraid to do the obscure. Like every material is a material that you can turn into something to wear.
I just like want to just point out the fact that like this show is just so life-changing. Like Sarah said it, and it really is true. Sarah and I met at the open call in 2016.
Yep.
We were next to each other in line and like bonded and totally like, we're best buds since then. But like both of us are coming from like industries that are not fashion at all.
Not
like,
at all.
She did photography and I was like in school to become a teacher before I like decided to do a master's program in fashion design. And like that was because of this show, and so it's crazy like how like incredible this community is, and like the learning like opportunity is just like unmatched.
Well, thank you both so much for your kind words. I want to point out about the both of you about how supportive you are in an industry that can be really competitive, can be very even catty at times. You both have set a tone of support and lifting each other up and empowering each other. And I know how much you mentor other designers. And I just want to thank you for creating a community along with your other designers, one that is welcoming and encouraging and teaching. And we thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of our team. Thank you for creating such an empowering and uplifting community.
It's been a real joy, honestly. Like
Yep.
the community around this show means so much to me and both of us. And it's been so hard because now that the pandemic has happened and the show has been like kind of pushed along, we've actually been banished from like the like Facebook group that we have, where everyone like can talk to each other and like get feedback and work on their stuff. Sarah and I have been banished from it so that we don't see anything that's like coming up. And that's been like we were already bummed to be leaving, when we knew that the show was going to be in 2020, and now it's like a whole nother.
It's been over a year since we've been in that group, so we have no idea what's going
We have no idea
on.
what's happening. We miss
Oh my
them
gosh.
a lot, though.
Yeah, we miss that community big time.
Oh my goodness. Well, Ed LaBay, you have been a huge part of fostering the Her Universe Fashion Show community, but also just making sure the Her Universe Fashion Show happens. But take us back, because I know you and you have been a massive inspiration for me personally, getting to know you and getting to know your story. You are now, let's just say it, you are like, I call you the head of Hot Topic. You're like running Hot Topic day to day. But you didn't start there. You have worked your way up every single step. You've busted your butt and you care so deeply about this company, and it came from years of hard work. So tell us about your journey, because you have earned it. You have earned every good thing that ever comes your way. Can you tell I'm your biggest fan, Ed?
I love it. And I'm yours. I would say that, and the designers said it perfectly. Like, I came from a completely different industry. I was working as a temp at a plumbing company. And, I would pick out different colored broom handles for our servicemen to use when they were out on the road. And I thought, I really like buying things, but I don't have any money of my own. So I need to work for a company where I can spend their money on stuff and really buy at a whole other level. And so I went into buying, and, I spent 10 years making t-shirts with a t-shirt company, then came to Hot Topic as a buyer of men's tees. And then, met you and David and, saw your brand that you had started and was just enamored by it and started buying all the juniors tees. And I think you and I had the same vision, which was that girls didn't need to have pink shirts or have things that were specifically designed with a girl in mind. They needed to be designed for fans, regardless of what gender. And, that girls were true fans, not just girls who wanted to wear fan products. And I was so happy to be able to do that with you and grow this amazing community. Like you said, I do have to say that one of my favorite things is getting to know the designers after the fact. I mean, I follow so many of them on the social media and seeing all the designs that they do post the event, seeing where their lives go. It inspires me every day. It just makes me so excited, and I just love them all to death. And, all the ones that I'm friends with. I mean, again, I have so many new friends because of this show. And so someone who's, has no sewing ability. I mean, I have very little sewing ability. I am just so wowed by everything that you all are able to do. And, this is one of probably my favorite moments of the year, to be able to see the creativity that comes out of this group. And to your point, the love and community within it. I mean, being able to go backstage and just see everybody helping everyone out and looking at everyone's designs and wowing over the fabrics and, really congratulating everybody, even though they're competing, right? Yeah. It's just incredible. It's such a wonderful thing. So, I think that my journey to get to this point is worth it because I get to spend time with such quality people.
Well, you know what though, Ed? I was just astounded when I joined the Hot Topic family of brands to find out how many jobs there are in fashion, even if you aren't creative. I mean, regardless of what your skill is, there's something for everyone. You can be into numbers, you can be into IT, you can be in legal. Like there's something for everyone. And so, you're in fashion merchandising and marketing, but you are crucial to the business of fashion. So, I mean, I think it's really great that it doesn't matter what your talent is. If you have a passion for fashion, you can be in the industry.
That's 100% correct. I think that, really being able to apply your passion to your job, regardless of what aspect of the business you're a part of, there's so many different roles and so many different needs and talents that aren't just tied to sewing or designing or drawing, that, anyone who loves fashion can become a part of the industry.
It takes teamwork to make the dream work.
That's right.
Okay, so here is the moment that I have been waiting for over a year to talk about. I am beyond excited to share that the Her Universe Fashion Show will be returning virtually this year in 2021. So let's check out a video teaser about our show. Last year we were so sad not to have a Her Universe fashion show, but there was no way that we could safely come together and safely plan the show. But we've been working very hard. A lot of people have been working very hard behind the scenes to bring you the show this year. And one thing that you might not know is that we start planning the Her Universe fashion show in January. So in order to make sure we could bring you the show this year, we had to make the decision to do the show virtually this year. But we are just thrilled. So right now, the submissions are open for the Her Universe fashion show. And we want you to submit. So, and we just happen to have 3 judges from this year's show here with us today on the panel. So Adria, Sarah, and Ed, what advice do you have for designers who are looking to submit for the fashion show? What are you looking for, and what advice do you have for them?
What I'm looking for from the designers is to really show me storytelling within the garments that they create. Sometimes the garments that walk down the runway don't necessarily translate into products that are going to go into the stores. So we're looking for designers that can really tell the passion and the story of the characters that they picked and tell them in little nuanced ways that we can then see that they'll be able to translate that passion into more ready to wear garments for the future.
I think kind of jumping off that, like, I know I'm a big detail person, so the more like thought out your elements and like, think about every layer or every level of styling, your jewelry, your accessories, even how you're doing your hair. Like those are all really important elements that kind of help put together the larger whole. If I see, work that is super thought out and each element like has a specific meaning, I think Ed, perfectly says it. Like if you're showing the passion for what you're designing, I think that's going to translate to a great runway piece. And I think too, for judges, we can get a little bit closer and personal with your garment. So, show us those little details and all those tiny little thoughts that you put into it. Those things that, might not necessarily be seen on like a larger runway. But we're doing virtual this year, so we can really get in there.
Yeah, definitely. The virtual really helps in doing something completely out of the box. You're not limited by traveling to San Diego. You are not limited by having to package stuff up and bring it with you. So I think that for me, one of the things I'm going to be looking for is really something totally different, really just going that couture route and just totally out of the box and totally exciting because it is virtual. You can do whatever. You have your own, you're in your own space. You are with your own people. And I just think that is a really unique opportunity and you're not limited by anything or being anywhere.
Yeah, one thing I'm personally excited about is that this gives everyone the opportunity to participate in the Her Universe Fashion Show. 2020 has been such a tough year on so many people, and it's going to be a while before everyone is able to come back out and come together at a convention. So while I hope that we can all come together soon, it's going to be different for everyone, depending on where you live and finances and health. And, so we really, really wanted to provide an opportunity where everyone had the opportunity to participate. And so Adria and Sarah are perfect examples. You just have to go for it. I mean, Adria learned to sew in 3 months. Sarah had no clue what panel she was walking into. And now they are both just incredible couture designers. If you can dream it, you can do it. And Adria, Sarah, and Ed are proof that they've made their dreams come true. And you can too. We hope you will submit. We cannot wait to see your submissions. I'm happy I'm not a judge. Adria, Sarah, Ed, you guys have some hard work ahead.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
I'm not ready.
No, not ready at all.
Okay, so I don't know what you're waiting for. It's time to submit. Submissions are open until April 2nd. So get to designing. On the screen right after this panel is all the details you will need on where to go and how to enter the Her Universe Fashion Show. So once again, Adria, Sarah, Ed, thank you so much for joining us today. And always remember to dream your world, be your world, and flaunt your world.